9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. And this week, we're heading to Modern to spin it to win it with Calibrated Blast. This deck is wild. We got 40 lands. We can't cast most of the non-lands in our deck, but when things go well, we can jank our opponents out as early as turn 3 if we get really lucky and get some help from our opponent's deck maybe, with a single card. So let's talk about our Calibrated Blast deck, jump into some games, see it in action. All right, so here is our Calibrated Blast deck. 74 bucks in paper, 11 ticks on Magic Online, and this deck is kind of hilarious. So we're built around Calibrated Blast. Calibrated Blast, this weird Modern Horizons 2 rare that for 3 mana lets you reveal cards from the top of your library until you find a non-land, and then you deal damage equal to that card's mana value to whatever you want, and you can flash it back for 5 mana. So step 1 of our deck is find Calibrated Blast. It is our only way to win the game. We do this by mulliganing really aggressively till we find a copy, or until we find a Throes of Chaos, which is essentially just more copies of Calibrated Blast. It cascades. Calibrated Blast, the only thing it can cascade into. So this gives us 6 Calibrated Blasts in our deck. And the idea of this deck is if we can resolve 2 Calibrated Blasts, either cast it and then flash it back, or double Throes of Chaos, however we get there, but resolve 2 copies of Calibrated Blast, hopefully we just win the game, because the rest of our deck is either lands, which can't get hit by Calibrated Blast, or are really expensive cards that we can't even really cast. Auto Chithian Worm, 15 mana, 15 damage with Calibrated Blast. Volcanic Salvo, 12 mana, 12 damage with Calibrated Blast. Blink Moth Infusion, 14 mana, 14 damage with Calibrated Blast. So ideally, we cast a Calibrated Blast, we hit these big expensive cards, and we just win the game. The only other non-land in our main deck is Commit to Memory, which takes advantage of a rules change from a couple of years ago that says that split cards have their combined mana value. So even though we can cast Commit as a 4 mana pseudo counter / removal spell, technically it is a 10 mana value card because you add the 2 mana values together. So this gives us 14 cards that represent at least 10 damage and up to 15 damage with Calibrated Blast. And then this is where the deck gets a little bit mathy. So if you think about our deck, we have 20 total non-land cards in our deck. 6 of them are whiffs with Calibrated Blast. We could hit another Calibrated Blast with Calibrated Blast. There's only 3 damage. We need a Throes of Chaos. There's only 4 damage. So those are the ones we don't want to hit. On the other hand, we have 14 cards that are hits that are going to be at least 10 damage. When you consider that if we're casting a Calibrated Blast, that's at least 1 whiff out of our deck. When we cast a Calibrated Blast, we're like 75%, roughly, like somewhere in that range of dealing somewhere between 10 and 15 damage to our opponent. So that should mean if we cast 2 Calibrated Blasts and we don't get unlucky and hit a Throes of Chaos or a Calibrated Blast, we should just win the game. And like I said before, we can Calibrated Blast, flash it back. So 1 Calibrated Blast can be both copies. Like that's one of the most common ways to win is we get up to 4 mana, end of our opponent's turn, blast our opponent, hopefully hit something big for like 15 damage, untap, flash back Calibrated Blast, win the game. Sometimes just 1 Calibrated Blast gets it done as well. Like if we can hit an Auto Chithian Worm, that's 15 damage. Maybe our opponent like fetched out a shotgun tap, played another shotgun tap. That could mean a single Calibrated Blast is just lethal on turn 3. So that's the idea of the deck. Essentially, try to resolve 2 copies of Calibrated Blast, pray really hard to the magic odds that we don't get unlucky and hit more Calibrated Blasts or Throes of Chaos, and we hit the big stuff and just win the game on the spot. The rest of the deck, it's all lands. The most important ones, Ramana Bruin Sunscorched Desert, give us a little extra damage. Maybe we hit a worm, but we can like sack some deserts to finish off the game. Mishra's Factory, good blocker, can chip in for damage. We got some life gain. Cure Keep can make tokens, a bunch of mana fixing. As far as the sideboard, we still have that weird restriction where we need everything to be really high mana value. We can't just like bring in Pyroclasms and Anger the Gods and counter spells, because then we're putting these low mana value cards in our deck that we're going to Calibrate a Blast into. So our sideboard is a bunch of lands for customization, Blast Zone for removal, Scavenger Ground for graveyard hate, Nephelia Academy to fight against discard, and then a couple more split cards. Rough Tumble, it's like a bad Pyroclasm. The front side of it, 2 mana, 2 damage to each creature without flying. So it's actually a bad Pyroclasm. The thing is though, So it's a Pyroclasm, technically costs 8 mana, so it kind of works with our plan of Calibrated Blasting. Same with Consign to Oblivion, it's like a bad unsummon effect. However, it's a 7 mana unsummon effect when you consider the split card and how the mana values work. So it gives us a way to get rid of a hate card, a way to deal with some creatures, and that is Calibrated Blast for Modern. That's our budget Magic deck for this week, so let's see if this works. It is filling your deck with uncastable cards to hopefully hit them with Calibrated Blast and burn your opponent out of the game. Is that a legit budget plan for the Modern format? We're gonna find out. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Enjoy the gameplay, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap up. Do you need some new Innistrad Crimson Vow cards? Well, you can get them all from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTGOldfish and even get a free MTG Goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes, and they will hook you up. Budget Magic time. We are Calibrated Blasting. Oh my god, we cannot find a blast, can we? Oh my god, blasting in Modern. This is unlikely. Oh my god, this is super unlikely. Well, boom. One card. Can you win on the Molda one? All right, Molda one challenge. Your go, opponent. Oh, that is very, very unlikely to happen. Very, very unlikely. Come on, lands, please. All right, Temple of Epiphany, that can scry for another land. We don't want Volcanic Salvo, we want lands. I mean, the funny thing is, it's not impossible that we win on a Molda one if we just hit our land drops and dodge discard, most likely. Opponent, Triome, interesting. Verdant Catacombs passes. That's unfortunate. Wait, 40 lands and we scried one to the bottom. Oh my god. Okay. Well, if we're gonna win on the Molda one, we're gonna need a little bit of luck, probably. And if this is okay. So now we're dead. Yep. I mean, now we just can't win. There's no sense in even continuing. Because Liliana's gonna make us discard everything. I mean, I guess we could bring in the Nephalia Academies. And let's bring in the Academies. I haven't put out the calculator yet, but with 6 copies of Calibrated Blast in the deck, counting Throes of Chaos, it is really unlikely to have to Molda one, like incredibly unlikely. Okay, this we will keep. We got the Throes of Chaos, which in some way Throes of Chaos is our best. Yeah, we'll keep the Ruins. In a lot of ways, Throes of Chaos is our best Calibrated Blast because we can just keep casting it, and it's going to get around discard, which is a concern against our opponent's deck. Thought seizes the Throes of Chaos. Well, they're going to need Graveyard Hate. The good news is our opponent's down to 16, which means they're already getting close to the death zone for Throes of Chaos. Opponent plains and passes. Well, we will play a Suramanop Ruins pass. So, I mean, in theory, we hit something big off the Calibrated Blast, untap Ramanop Ruins, win. Opponent, Godless Shrine. Oh, down to 14. Okay, well, maybe we just win right now. Liliana. Certainly. Okay, I mean, we got cards that win us the game immediately, assuming we hit them. We'll discard Swiftwater Cliffs. Come on. Well, we will play a Nephalia Academy, Throes of Chaos. Come on! We need something big. We need something big. We need a big boy. Throes of Chaos, Calibrated Blast. Yes, we will cast it. Calibrated Blast finds Blinkmoth Infusion. That's a 14, and that is how we do it. Okay. When we don't mull a 1, when we don't mull the 1, life is much easier. I'm not going to change anything. Run it back. I mean, try to do that again. That's what the deck does. Oh boy, it does get your heart up in your throat when you cast your Calibrated Blast, because like what are we, like a little over 50-50 to win? When we cast that Throes of Chaos, hit the Calibrated Blast. If we hit Volcanic Salvo, Throw of Chaos, or Commit to Memory, we don't immediately win. If we hit Blinkmoth or Worm, we do immediately win. If we hit Throes of Chaos, that's the full nightmare. That is the worst outcome. All right, so we're gonna have to be aware of discard. Well, no Blast, no Throws, no Keep. We're gonna put Infusion to the bottom since it's our most expensive card. Opponent's doing some pretty aggressive mulliganing here. Well, I mean, we have a Calibrated Blast. We don't have a way to really beat the discard. We can make some kobolds. Opponent, Godless Shrine tapped and passes. Well, Temple of Epiphany, Scry, Mountain to the bottom. At this point, we're basically looking for more blasts to get around the discard. Opponent, Windswept Teeth and passes. Mishra's Factory is not bad. That is a way we could chip in for damage or chip in at a Liliana or something. So opponent goes to 19, gets a Forest. Grizzly Salvage Spicy. Oh, so they're reanimating. Interesting. Did not hit a reanimation target, which is good. Later Wayfinder, gonna fill the graveyard. Oh, okay, there's an Burial Rites. Still no finish from the graveyard. Opponent. There's the Thoughtseize. Gonna take our, I'm sure, Calibrated Blast. So this does slow us down. Yep, takes the blast. Opponent passes. Well, Mishra's Factory. Go to combat. Attack. Ooh, opponent just takes it. All right. That's good. Down to 15. Getting close to the danger zone. Radiant Fountain. Lana. Opponent. So, I mean, auto tree on Worm. Ooh, boy. Opponent goes down to 13. Back up to 16. Okay. So 16 is not dead. We draw Blink Moth Infusion, not ideal. Well, Cure Keep, go. Opponent untaps. We can commit to memory something. I don't know if that's ideal. The opponent goes to combat, gonna hit us with the Rhino. Sure, down to 14. Only 2 cards in hand. Also gonna be super close. Night of Autumn to try to gain life. Oh, we are going to, yeah, we're gonna commit that. Oh boy. All right, Magic Gods. All right, Magic Gods. Be good. Smile upon your children. Oh, no. Oh, I do not like the number of expensive cards we've drawn here. That makes me very, very nervous. The number of expensive cards we've drawn, decreasing our odds of hitting something that's lethal, increasing our odds of hitting something that does nothing. Opponent goes to combat. Hits us with a Rhino. I mean, we got to go for it. We can't not go for it. Down to 10. Liliana. Sure. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is all. If we hit a 14, we win. If not, we might be in trouble. Calibrated Blast. Come on. Come on. Show us the worm. Please not Throws of Chaos. Anything but Throws of Chaos. Commit to memory. So we hit our opponent to 10. Yeah, all right. Hit our opponent to 10. Or 410 down to 6. In a perfect world, we would top deck another Calibrated Blast. Oh, we did. Oh my God. Okay. So anything but, oh my God. Okay, Mishra's Factory. I mean, this should be good. Mishra's Factory, go to combat, attack you. Anything but Throws of Chaos is lethal now. Go to combat, attack you. We got plenty to discard. We know our opponent's drawing that Night of Autumn. I'm pretty sure that we put on top of the deck, which I think means we win either way. So we can play Shivan Reef. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to cast it. If we hit the Throws of Chaos, it's disappointing, but I still think we're alive long enough. I can't believe we top decked that. What do we hit? Oh my God, we did hit Throws of Chaos. Okay, hit you. To 2. So opponent untaps. They get to cast Night of Autumn. The only way this doesn't work is if we hit another Throws of Chaos. We would have to hit both of them because Calibrated Blast puts the card on the bottom. So the only way we don't win this game is if we hit the second Throws of Chaos 2 in a row, which would be the most brutal. Opponent hits us. Oh, Magic Gods, not like that. Down to 5. We untap. We pray real hard. We float our mana. Okay, I mean, 5 mana. Oh, this can't happen. This got Calibrated Blast. Okay, Blink Moth Infusion. Ah, okay. Oh, we got there. Oh my goodness. This deck, oh my god, it's so scary. You know, the math is like heavily in favor of it working. It's like in that situation, it's like 95%, but you always got the fear that the 5%er, like this could be the 5%er. I mean, 1 out of every 20 times it's gonna happen. That's what 5% means. Wow. Well, okay. Siege Rhino. Love you, buddy, but not this time. Not this time. Sweet. Blasted them. Budget Magic time. We are Calibrated Blasting in Modern, and oh, I mean, I think we keep this. It's a little awkward that we got the Blink Moth Infusion and Worm. On the other hand, we have both Throws of Chaoses. So this is this should be a turn 5 win. As long as we hit a land and we can just resolve both of these, they're both going to Calibrated Blast. We're not going to hit Throws of Chaos. Everything else in our deck is at least 10 damage. We'll see. And we're on the play, which is good. And we got a little life gain. I mean, things can obviously go wrong. There are ways this goes wrong, with like Thalia or some sort of land destruction effect being the biggest. See what our opponent's up to. No companion revealed. Spire of Industry. Ginger Brute. All right, so opponent appears to be playing some sort of affinity deck. I guess not drawing a land would be a problem, but that's pretty unlikely. Mishra's Factory's not bad. That's actually a Ginger Brute blocker. Opponent untaps, goes to combat. Actually, if they're gonna leave their mana up, I don't think we're gonna risk it. We need to get 4 mana. Like, the way we win is casting 2 Calibrated Blast, not by losing lands trying to chump block a Ginger Brute or block a Ginger Brute. Opponent Smith, gonna go digging. Well, I mean, the only real question is gonna be, are we fast enough? I think that's the only question. Opponent appears to have options with their Smith. We're gonna need two blasts to win. All right, gets a tap land. Plays an Ornithopter to grow their Smith. Radiant Fountain, go up to 20. Pass the turn. Opponent takes up Urza Saga. Treasure Vault, grows the Smith. Well, I mean, let's see if they can kill us before we cast these 2 throws of chaos. Opponent Perennial Plating, so that does speed up our opponent's clock. Does it speed it up so much that we die? That's the question. Equips to the Ginger Brute, so gets in for 8. 8 is a lot. We cannot afford to block here. Well, I mean, if our opponent can just kill us next turn, then they got us. Ooh, Radiant Fountain does help. Radiant Fountain, gain some life. Throes of Chaos. Cascade. So we know we're hitting our blast, Calibrated Blast. We reveal. Blink Moth. Hit you. 14. All right. Well, if you can 14 us, then you win. That is the TLDR. Opponent does get to tutor up something with Urza Saga, so what they might do here is try to tutor up life gain. Although hopefully we will still have enough damage to have lethal. All right, opponent's trying to decide what to do with this Urza Saga. They're going to make a construct. Okay, that's, I think, good news. I think. So opponent's gonna have 6, 10 damage, 11 damage, 12, if they have a handful of free artifacts. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be close. I mean, we have the win in hand, unless our opponent can kill us first. Gets a sprint. Oh, all right. Well, that increases our opponent's odds of being able to cast enough artifacts to kill us. Oh, they're either going to be like Xaxes or be like 1 point of damage short. We know they have an artifact land, but that is a tap land. Okay, there's a tap land. That's 12. Do they have a free artifact? They do. Wow. Okay, 13. And they got a mana with the Springleaf Drum. That looks like it's going to be Xaxes. Oh my god. Oh, wait. Are they 1 short? Okay. Wow, they don't have one? Or they have like a burn spell? Is that what's happening? Opponent well, okay. Throes of Chaos. Cascade. Blast. Cast it. Target you. I mean, do you have something? They do not. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, we die. We blasted into a blast. And now we can ping our opponent for 1, but that's not enough. All right, that's unfortunate. So we had 2 whiffs. 2 whiffs and like 15 hits or something, and we hit one of the 2. So we were like 95% to win that game. Oh, sometimes math does not like us. We're literally 95. I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think we had 10 total things in our deck that could possibly be throws into. 2 of them were whiffs in Calibrated Blast. The other 8 were hits. So we were 80% to win when we cast the Throws of Chaos for Calibrated Blast. And we hit the 20%er at the worst possible time. Hi. Not ideal. Not ideal, I'll say. Well, we can bring in these not super good, but sort of helpful sweepers. And I can't believe we lost that. There is some variance. There is a little bit of variance. Well, this we're keeping. I mean, turn 3 blast, turn 4 blast. Hope that we don't get unlucky. So we got a Volcanic Salvo in hand. Unfortunately, we did bring in some things that only deal 8 damage, which is a little bit not great. That is a problem with sideboarding. Like sideboarding, we bring in things that are lower mana value. They're things that do things, which is helpful. Swift Water Cliffs to the, I guess we just keep the land to the top. Opponent adapts. Tap land. Opponent passes. Well, Swift Water Cliffs. Gain a life past the turn. Oh, come on. So we got 2 Calibrated Blasts out of our deck, which is good. We do have the 2 Throws of Chaos. So we got 4 whiffs and 13 hits? That is pretty good percentage, but Spring Leaf Drum. Ornithopter. About it. Still at 20. All right, opponent came prepared. Yeah, now we can't do anything. Like literally nothing. About it. Passes. Yeah, fair enough. Actually, well, I mean, we can still just cast a Calibrated Blast. All right. I mean, we can't Cascade, but we can do this. Because we're not casting the spell off we hit off. We're not casting the spell. We're just revealing it. What did we reveal? Oh my, we got no luck. We got no luck. Throes of Chaos. No! Come on, Math! Why? Why do you keep doing this to us? About it. Oh, Math hates us. Oh my god, we got no luck. We got no luck at all. Opponent Thought Monitor. Goes to combat. Gets it for 2. Sure. About it passes. Yeah, Soldier's Companion. They could also be playing Metallic Rebuke as a counter spell. Another Springleaf Drum. About it. Another Canonist. Okay, passes. Well, that would have been good last time. All right, let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Calibrated Blast. I swear to God. All right, Blink Moth Infusion. Hit ya. To 2. Okay, they gotta kill us this turn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, we need no Cranial Plating. Cranial Plating is the card that gets us. Urza Saga does not get us. There's one card in hand. Is it Cranial Plating? We don't even need the Calibrated Blast. We can just win with Ramanop Druids. Even through our whiff, hitting that Throes of Chaos. Oh, we should have won this match too. We should have won the match. Oh my goodness. This should have been the match win, but we got so brutalized by that. Oh, that last spin of game 1 about it. This better not be Cranial Plating, I swear. If you're slow rolling the plating, Nettle Cyst. Oh, so they are slow rolling the plating. Okay, I think that means our opponent wins. Unsure why our opponent was slow rolling that. They can tap their 2 Ornithopters and equip, and that gives them lethal, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so opponent, fair enough. That was pretty unfortunate. Both of those losses. I mean, I guess it's an example of the risk of the deck. Like there is some fizzle percentage built in where you Calibrated Blast into a Calibrated Blast or Throes of Chaos. The math supports it not happening very often. Unfortunately, it happened twice in a row in the same match, and our opponent had the slow roll Nettle Cyst. Ouch. Budget Magic time. We are Calibrated Blasting in Modern, and we got a Calibrated Blast, so we will keep Mishra's Factory Go. See what our opponent's up to. No companion revealed. This will be interesting. We do need one more red source. That's a weird thing to be pinched on for the flashback opponent. All right, there's the red source. Well, let's play Radiant Fountain. Gain a couple life past the turn. I don't think we're gonna try to attack. Too risky. We can't afford to lose a land here. We need our manas. Radiant Fountain, go. Opponent. Cracking Fetches is good. That does get our opponent slightly closer to dead. Hallowed Fountain. All right, so appears to be a deck that might have counter spells. Opponent. Glacial Fortress. And passes. Well, play a mountain. Pass the turn. Can we resolve our Calibrated Blast? That is question number 1. Opponent. Untaps. Island. Passes. Okay. Oh, that would have been a nice hit. Well, we will play a mountain. Pass the turn. So our opponent might just be leaving up counters forever, perhaps, which is less than ideal, especially since Force of Negation is a counter that, Shark Typhoon. I mean, we got to go for it. They could still Force of Negation, but this is a window. Calibrated Blast reveals. Oh my god, we got no luck. Throws a Chaos at you for... Come on now, Magic Gods. Come on now. Oh my god. No! How does this keep happening mathematically? Oh my goodness. Math is really betraying us. Opponent gonna get in and not get in and hit us. Opponent's going to play a land. Play a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Well, I mean, we're gonna cast another Calibrated Blast. Opponent could be finding the Force of Negation by now, unfortunately. Opponent passes. Sunscorched Desert. Ping you. Calibrated Blast. Did you find a Force of Negation off your Jace? No. Reveals. Oh, 10 damage. Opponent down to 4. Oh, these whiffs. About it. Wow, that's so ridiculous. About it. I mean, so 10 is at least not a Throes of Chaos level whiff, but 10 is still not good. Like, 10 is the weakest of our big things. We have things that would have just won us the game there, even with the Throes of Chaos. Opponent leaves a card on top. So our game plan now is to try to win with the desert damage. Opponent, Watery Grave. Oh, well, okay, that makes it perhaps easier. Watery Grave untapped. Going to 2 is a little risky. I don't know if our opponent's expecting this Ramanamp Ruins. They could have like instant speed life gain, I guess. Oh, Ramanamp Ruins. Pass the turn. Opponent. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Untaps. Opponent. I think we got to do this now. Ramanamp Ruins, Sack Sunscorched Desert. I'm worried about Kaya's Guile. That would make that untapped black source make sense. But they never tap down, and now we got to do it before Jace brainstorms into Kaya's Guile. Opponent has something. All right, opponent does have the Kaya's Guile. Oh, that whip's gonna get us, isn't it? It's gonna get us. About it. Brainstorms with Jace, goes back up to 4, and goes to combat. Attacks. So we can hit our opponent to 2, but 2 isn't lethal. About it. Hallowed Fountain. Tapped, of course. Passes. We will play Radiant Fountain. And pass the turn. Second Ramanamp Ruins is potentially 2 more damage, but our opponent is brainstorming with Jace, so they probably have ability to flashback the Kaya's Guile, gain 4 more life. About it. Adapts. Goes to combat. Ticks up Jace. Well, that probably means they got the answer in hand. Wow, they actually put the card on the bottom. Okay. So I assume our opponent has Snapcaster Kaya's Guile here. Opponent gets in, hits us. Yeah, we take 3. Okay. Sack the Ramanamp Ruins. Hit ya. Down to 2. Untap. Draw Swiftwater Cliffs. Ramanamp Ruins. Go. The problem is we still can't stop our opponent from doing this same thing again and gaining more life. And then we're out of Ramanamp Ruins. Opponent untaps. I mean, I'd just be very surprised if our opponent ever tapped out here. Brainstorms with Jace. We gotta try it. If this doesn't work, then they just got us. Ramanamp. Whoa, my goodness, it worked. We dodged. Oh my goodness. So we ran very sketchily, but then our Ramanamp Ruins did end up coming through in the end. Do we want to change anything? Probably not. No Nephalia Academy, Blast Zone, Scavenger Grounds. I mean, we could bring in Scavenger Grounds. Cure Keep doesn't seem very good against our opponent's deck, and it is or Radiant Fountain, and it is another desert. And we saw there, like, being able to sack 3 deserts to get those last points of damage did matter. Like, that's what let us overcome our relatively big whiff with Calibrated Blast. Well, we're gonna keep this. Have not done much blue mana drawing. Blink Moth Infusion would be better in our deck. Own it. Celestial Colonnade. Passes. Ugh, okay. Well, Volcanic Salvo was not on the top of our to-draw list. Yeah, that's another big thing out of our deck. Polluted Delta for our opponent. Passes. Please stop drawing expensive things. Scavenger Grounds. Well, Forgotten Cave. Go. I mean, the hard part against control is just resolving our Calibrated Blasts. It worked out last game, sort of. But I think that partly involved us getting lucky and our opponent not having Force Negation. Watery Grave. Tapped. Opponent down to 19. Opponent. Drowned Catacombs. And Sunset Revelry to gain a bit of life. Sure. Well, I mean, we're going to try a Calibrated Blast. A little scared that we have 3 big things out of our deck. Oh, make it. Wow, that's awkward. Whew. Okay, make that 4 big things out of our deck. So odds of this hitting is a lot lower than we'd like it to be. Calibrated Blast. Ooh, Blink Moth. Okay. Well, I mean, that is a hit. Opponent down to 9, past even with all this big stuff in hand, still came through. And I mean, at some point we can start trying to attack with Mishra's Factories. Opponent passes. I think we'd rather wait until we flash back this blast though. Blue mana would actually be sweet. It's gonna be tapped though. Like this commit to memory is like sort of relevant. Ooh, Throes of Chaos. Well, in that case, Mountain and Throes of Chaos, Cascade. Come on, give us some luck. Give us some luck, Calibrated Blast. Okay, opponent counters it, sure. But this means we got 2 Calibrated Blasts and a Throes of Chaos in our graveyard. So we're gonna be able to keep, unless our opponent has Graveyard Hate, we're gonna be able to keep casting these. Hopefully until our opponent does not have a counter spell left. Opponent cracks down to 8. Oh, it does make me worried that we have all these expensive things in hand. There's a lot of cheap things that are potentially blasted into. Opponent passing, leaving up their mana. Yep, we draw. We would like to just draw lands the rest of the game. Ooh, Calibrated Blast. All right, well, Scavenger Grounds. Go. Well, getting the Calibrated Blast out of our deck is good. That is a good thing. Also, Calibrated Blast is an instant, remember, so we can try to like blast on our opponent's end step into blast on our turn. No, I mean, this is good as it gets. If our opponent adds Force of Negation, they can counter it, but blast, oh my god, into a blast, okay. Not what we were hoping for. Opponent goes to 5. Well, we knew there was when we kept top decking the big things we wanted in our deck, we knew that was a risk, that was a thing that could happen. Opponent, Sunset Revelry up to 9, plays a land, and passes. That's another big thing drawn. Mishra's Factory, go to combat attack. Wow, opponent kept Fatal Pushes in their deck. All right. Calibrated Blast. Opponent has a counter. Oh my god. This is a crazy. This running is insane. Absolutely absurd that we have 40 lands and we've drawn more spells than lands. Like, that should not be happening. Castle Vantress for our opponent going to pass. We desperately need to draw a land here, preferably untapped. All right, Shivan Reef, pass the turn. I mean, we're gonna keep casting Calibrated Blasts, and sooner or later, one of them's gonna resolve, and it's not gonna hit something little and horrible, and we're gonna win. That is the game plan. Opponent, thinking about scrying. All right, not going to scry. Untaps. We got a plan. Whether or not it works, we're gonna find out. Opponent, another land, 4 cards in hand. Kaya. That is kind of ridiculously unfortunate. Okay, so this means we lose. Well, Calibrated Blast, cast it. Okay, we need to draw a land, and we need to not whiff with this Calibrated Blast. Oh my god. If we draw a non-land here, it's almost impossible. It's so unlikely. All right, well, this is it. This is a game. If we whiff on this, I'm going to actually probably physically cry. Okay, we draw the mountain. Throes of Chaos. Oh, please, Magic Gods. Discard the land. Throes of Chaos, Cascades. Into Calibrated Blast, the last one, I believe. We hit something lethal. 12. Oh my goodness. Ah, okay, there we go. Well, we managed to navigate a really tricky matchup because our opponent's got a ton of counters and life gain. But if you blast enough, sooner or later, you're gonna get through. You can fight through the bad running. Oh my goodness, drawing all these cards is really, really, really awkward. Oh, what a weird game, what a weird deck, but we'll take it. Sweet, sweet. Budget Magic time. We are blasting in Modern and mulliganing in Modern. No blast, no way to get a blast. So many commit to memories. Mulligan. Oh my god, mulligan. Okay, keep. Bottom. Oh my god, bottom. Oh boy, all right. Mulling to 3 is not ideal. We would prefer not to mull to 3. I mean, we'll just keep basically any land. We got 40 lands in the deck. We'd love to just draw land every turn of this game for the Throes of Chaos. Well, Forgotten Cave, go. Opponent. Having the Throw of Chaos in hand is if this is a Taxus style deck, we might be in trouble. Stoneforge Mystic. Sword of Fire and Ice. Please a land. Sunscorched Desert, ping you. This is gonna be interesting. Something like Thalia would be incredibly bad for us. Opponent. Ghost Quarter. I mean, Leon and Arbiter Ghost Quarter also super bad because we had to mulligan so much. Ether Vial, okay. There's the Thalia. Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. Opponent passes. We will play Shivan Reef past the turn. So now we gotta get to 6 mana to be able to throws into a Calibrated Blast. Opponent puts, oh god, what a hand. Puts the Cauldron Complete into play. Hits us. Well, Sunscorched Desert, ping, yeah, we're just dead though. Well, not the best time to mulligan all the way out of the game. Okay, so, yeah, that's pretty unlucky, honestly. I mean, it's actually really unlucky. With 6 copies of Calibrated Blast, you shouldn't have to mull to 3 or 1 to find them with any amount of consistency. Oh boy. This hand has a Calibrated Blast, but it has 2 of our best finishers in hand. I think we gotta mulligan it. All right, well, I mean, this we will keep. Although, as we saw last game, our opponent has a ton of taxing stuff, which is a problem. All right, we'll definitely keep Rough Tumble. That's one of our key sideboard cards. That gives us a Pyroclasm effect, which is actually really good against our opponent's deck. Ether Vial. Abuna passes. Now, Swift Watercliffs gain a life past the turn. Opponent. So, Rough, 2 damage each creature without flying for 2 mana. Also a split card, so its total mana value is actually 8. There's the Thalia. Opponent passes. Well, Sun Scorched Desert. Ping you. And, yeah, I mean, I think we just gotta rough them up. Rough up the Thalia. Opponent. Wow. Jeez. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. Golly. So opponent has a Burrington Forge Tender that they managed to vial in off their Ether Vial to save their Thalia. And I mean, now I guess we're back to being pretty in trouble. Opponent. I think Taxes has got to be just a really tricky matchup for what we're trying to do. Not many decks that play main deck Thalia. This is one of the only ones. Well, Mishra's Factory. Yeah. So now we got to get to 6 mana for a single Calibrated Blast. The problem is our opponent's going to be able to put this Calder Compete into play, and I think that just wins the race. Oh, God almighty. All right. Well, those were just amazing hands for our opponent. Budget Magic time. We are mulliganing for a Calibrated Blast in, oh my God, Modern. And all right, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, come on. I mean, we are a 40 land deck, so as long as we keep hitting lands, this hand is good. Opponent. Would have been nice if we had mulliganed into these cards a little bit quicker. Abundant Growth for our opponent. Okay, that is not a land. Unfortunate. All right, that's a land. We will keep it. We just need to draw lands. Any non-land we draw is actually really bad for us. Opponent. Sterling Grove. Well, Swift Watercliffs, go. Opponent. We also got to be kind of fast, or our opponent can potentially lock. There's a Sethis. Can potentially lock the game with. Okay, it's a nice tap land. Can potentially lock the game with Solitary Confinement that we just cannot really easily beat. With Sterling Grove and Solitary Confinement, we just literally can't beat our opponent, period. All right, Enchantress's Presence. Opponent gains a life, they untap a land. Abundant Growth. Well, I don't know. Not feeling super confident, but we'll see. Opponent gets in for 1. Land, please. All right, Mishra's Factory. Well, pass the turn. We kind of have a shot. We're going to need to get a little lucky, but I mean, we can Calibrated Blast into throws for Calibrated Blast. If it's lethal, then we win. But opponent's gaining life here. All right, Sanctum Weaver. Draws 2 cards, gains some life. Opponent. Blood Moon? Blood Moon. That's fine. Well, I mean, this is it. Yeah, up to 21. Oh, come on, Calibrated Blast. Please be lethal. Opponent hits us. Come on, Magic Gods. Oh, don't let us fizzle. We got throws out of the way, which is good. Opponent untaps a forest. Arbor Elf. All right, we need 21 points of damage. Well, Calibrated Blast into Blink Moth Infusion for 14. Oh my God, the moment of truth. The moment of truth. Mishra's Factory, Calibrated Blast. Oh, so we have 1 Throes of Chaos, 3 Calibrated Blasts that are whiffs. Everything else is a win. Blink Moth Infusion. Oh, blasted him. Oh my God, we survived. Wow. Okay. I don't know how we survived that, but we did. We actually really, truly did. Okay, so Blast Zones in. I wonder if Rough Tumble's worth it. Rough Tumble weakens our finish, but it does kill pretty much all the creatures our opponent might be playing. Only 8 mana value though. So 2 of them does not necessarily equal lethal. Ooh. The other thing is our opponent could be bringing in like Ley Lines of Sanctity that would be an issue, which I guess could be an argument for like Consign to Oblivion. But that's only 7 mana value, which is a lot less than what we'd be taking out. All right, we're gonna go down 1 Throws, because that's kind of whiffy anyway. In 1 Volcanic Salvo, 2 Rough Tumbles. I mean, we got game 1 somehow. Somehow. Well, this does not have our payoffs. It does have a Rough Tumble and a Blast Zone, but I don't think we can keep a hand. Yeah, I don't think we can keep this. All right, that's Calibrated Blast. Put the worm to the bottom and all right, see what happens. Opponent's mulliganing, I assume for something bad for us. Snow-covered forest and Arbor Elf, sure. Well, we draw Blink Moth Infusion, which we would prefer to be in our deck for blasting purposes. Opponent. Greater Auramancy. Untaps. And Abundant Growth to draw a card. Sure. I mean, we're going to start chipping in for a little bit of damage. Mishra's Factory. Hit ya for 2 down to 18. Opponent. Land. And Curse of Silence. I assume I'm going to choose Calibrated Blast. So that does slow us down a bit. Opponent hits us. Well, Mishra's Factory. Hit ya. Down to 16. Play Forgotten Cave past the turn. Opponent's only got 1 card though, and they don't have an Enchantress effect at the moment, which is big. Opponent hits us. Well, Mishra's Factory. Hit ya. We know one of the worms is at the bottom of our deck too. Down to 14. Play a Mountain past the turn. Oh, down to 13. Oh, this is so close. So next turn we get to Blast. Will it be lethal? Opponent cracks. Down to 12. That actually turns on more possibilities. This Mishra's Factory has done a bit of work. Opponent. Sanctum Weaver. And hits us. Down to 17. Well, Cycle the Cave. Untap. How do we want to do this? Do we cast it? I mean, play Shivan Reef. Play Shivan Reef past the turn. I mean, we can Calibrated Blast during our opponent's turn. This also lets us leave up Commit to Memory. Sterling Grove. Sure. Well, be good. Calibrated Blast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Calibrated Blast. Wow, opponent sacks. That means we get to do it again. Oh, it's a worm. No whipping this time. This deck is so scary to play because you just never know. You never know when the Calibrated Blast is going to be like, oh, it's a worm, you win. And when it's going to be like, oh, it's another Calibrated Blast. Sorry, like, you did all this for nothing. But it worked out that time. Sweet. So what do we learn this week about Calibrated Blast in Modern? And this deck is just ridiculous. It is such an interesting deck to play. We ended up going 3-2, which is a fine record. We saw the good and the bad of the deck. We saw the crazy wins. We had that awesome top deck Sunscourge Desert for the last point of damage win. And we got to see the bad where it's like, okay, we ran up against Affinity and they're on the play and they can just kill us before we can cast our Calibrated Blast. Or we ran into the Taxes deck, which is like a hilariously bad matchup. They're playing Thalias and other taxing effects, and we just can't really do anything at all. The thing that makes the deck so much fun to play and just so interesting is how Calibrated Blast works, because we talked about it a little bit during the deck tech. You got this like mathy aspect where when we cast a Calibrated Blast, we're usually 75, 80% to hit a big thing and win the game, but there's always that 20, 25% that you hit the bad thing or the wrong thing, and if you do, you're not really getting any damage and you're losing the game. So every Calibrated Blast, it's like this huge moment of fear and excitement, and you just don't know what's going to happen. You know that it should work out most of the time, but then you can't get too mad when it doesn't work out, because you also know there's like a fail rate that's built into the deck, because you got to have more copies of Calibrated Blast in the deck to really make the deck work. So I think the deck's really interesting. It's definitely powerful, really consistent, it goldfishing into like a turn 5-ish win, a decently high percentage of the time. It can win quicker if you get a little bit of luck, if you get some extra damage out of your opponent's mana base or whatever. The dream is like the one Calibrated Blast win, which doesn't happen very often, but it does happen on occasion, where you play a couple Sunscourge Deserts, your opponent cracks some fetch lands, and you hit an auto Chithion Worm, and you just win on the spot. So I think the archetype's really interesting. It reminds me a little bit of like Zombie Hunt, kind of like the 2021 Zombie Hunt. The upside is Calibrated Blast is more guaranteed to win the game. With the Treasure Hunt Zombie Infestation deck, the problem is you got to make a bunch of zombies, and those zombies can be killed. Calibrated Blast is just throwing that damage directly at your opponent's face, so the chances of fizzling, I think, are lower, but the play pattern's really similar, where you're mulliganing for these specific cards, although you do get the upside of getting to play the Throes of Chaos, so you get more copies, which you can't do in Zombie Hunt, although at the same time, the Throes of Chaos give you another whiff in the deck, so I don't even know. I think the deck's hilarious. If you get lucky and hit good matchups, could easily go 5-0 with the deck. On the other hand, if you unlucky and hit bad matchups, you could just as easily go 0-5 with the deck. So definitely high variance, but really, really interesting and unique. So that's Calibrated Blast. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.